when it comes to the mattress, however, honestly, it's pretty much just as important as your car seat purchase. Right? And I know that sounds crazy, but really and truly the amount of time the child is spending on this is significant enough that it should be more of a top-of-mind purchase than it already is, or isn't, I should say. So a little bit of background about Jupiter. So they're actually a Canadian company. So they've been manufacturing crib mattresses for over 20 years now. They're actually local in Toronto. They're local manufacturing, so they literally do all the making of the mattresses right there. And they do try and source a lot of their materials in North America. So it really and truly is a very Canadian-made mattress as a result, which is a nice kind of point to make to your customers. And we do nicely label Made in Canada right there on the mattresses as well. Great company to work with. Honestly, I get so few issues with it, and whenever there is an issue, they take care of it like right away. So it's a very, very good company to work with. So when it comes to the mattress, as I said, why is that mattress important, right? Why should that be like one of the top priorities in my purchasing with the baby? Well, a newborn baby can spend around 18 hours a day on that mattress, right? They sleep a lot in the beginning. And when they get into that toddler stage, you can look somewhere between 12 to 14 hours that they're spending on that mattress. So it's a substantial amount of time that they're actually spending on this, and development time as well, right? So a lot of things to consider when it comes to that. Oops, sorry. Do not restart. Okay, so I have 14 minutes to go through this presentation because my computer's going to restart and it's not letting me do anything else. The other thing too is that their breathing is about 6 inches away from the mattress as well, right? So it's very close, so you don't want to have a lot of toxic, off-gassing kind of materials in your mattress either, which none of our mattresses have that. Jupiter, in fact, 15 years ago, was one of the first companies to start moving away from vinyl. Vinyl has a tendency to off-gas, send a lot of VOCs out there into the environment, and before this became a big top-of-mind discussion for consumers, Jupiter got ahead of the game. They really try and like set the standards as opposed to just follow them, right? So they're trying to go above and beyond. So in terms of some important knowledge to just know in general about the mattress, every mattress should fit with every crib because they're standard sizes. However, you know, sometimes you won't get that, and you get into the circle cribs, or IKEA, they have their own kind of crazy sizing and whatnot. I think if you buy like an IKEA crib, you have to buy an IKEA mattress if I'm not mistaken. But really and truly, they should kind of fit together. Sometimes there is an issue, you know, whether or not the crib might have accidentally had a little extra room that it didn't need, or maybe the mattress, the fabric got put on and it tightened it up so much that it gave a gap. So you want to make sure that your mattress is properly fitting in your crib. And the way that you do that is you put the mattress in, you should push it into the furthest back corner, and there should be no more than 3 centimeters of gap around the mattress. That's your allowable gap. Any more than that, it's too small for your crib. So it's important to kind of know that your mattress is properly fitting. You don't want a big gap because obviously baby can roll in there, might get their hands stuck, this, that, and the other. It's, you know, a concern for sure. The other thing too to know about is firmness. So this is something that probably one of the only features consumers know about their mattress. They know that they need to have it firm. Well, why? And what's too firm versus appropriately firm, right? So first off, in terms of why do you want a firm mattress? You don't want to create what is called a sleep valley. When you've got a newborn baby, they're like a little bowling ball, right? They don't have a nice spread out weight distribution like we do as an adult that will distribute our weight over a large area, right? They're kind of put in the center and it's like a ball in the center. So when you have that, what can be created if you have not a firm enough mattress is what's called a sleep valley, which is when the mattress dips in and creates that valley around the baby. And the reason this is dangerous is babies breathe very, very rapidly, and they're breathing out all that carbon dioxide, and that can kind of pool into that little valley, and they're breathing it back in, right? And other gases and whatnot can maybe be pooling in there as well. So that's why you want a firm mattress. Now, how do you check for firmness? So this is also very, very important. So a lot of the times, people will take the mattress, and they'll do this. They'll be like, okay, oh, that's not firm enough. It's like, okay, first off, your baby does not have that level of force, right? We're talking about a newborn. The second thing, too, is why are you testing up here? The baby's not going to be sleeping on the very, very far corner of the mattress in this small little area. You're going to put them in the middle of the mattress. So the appropriate way to check for firmness is by taking 2 hands, going on the middle of the mattress, and giving it a squeeze. That's how you check for firmness, right? So you're squeezing, and the amount of pressure that you're putting on there is probably even more so than, again, what a baby would be able to physically push on themselves. So that's how you check for the firmness. And now how do you know if it's too firm versus firm enough? First off, all of Jupiter's mattresses are firm enough for an infant. So they're all appropriately firm for that newborn. When you get into other mattresses out there, so there's a couple brands out there that have super, super firm mattresses, like almost like you're sleeping on the floor kind of firmness. So first off, I think it's important to take into consideration comfort. It's a baby. They're still a human being. So you want them to have a comfortable and pleasant sleep, right? So you want to make sure that there is a little bit of padding there so they are comfortable. The other thing too is that when you get too firm of a surface, you can cause flathead, right? I'm sure you guys have heard of that, where the babies' skulls are very, very soft, and so they have a tendency to shape in molds a little bit easier. They harden up after time, but you don't want something so firm that it's creating a flat surface on the back of their head, right? The other thing too is if you have a very firm surface, it's easier for the baby to roll around. Think about it. If you're rolling on a floor, a hard wooden floor, you can roll around no problem. If it's got a little bit more of that kind of softer, it's a bit more challenging. And again, we're talking about a newborn who won't have that kind of power, right? So even if it's a very small little incline that they have to get up on. So those are some of the reasons why you don't want something too firm, why you want to have something firm enough though at the same time. So it's a little bit of a balancing act, if you will. So in terms of the cores of the mattresses, okay, it's like, which mattresses do you guys have? So we actually have quite an extensive mattress line. And then Nicole and Jordana have picked out mattresses that they feel suit your guys' needs best, which really and truly I think is a great lineup here. So at the end of the day, you're going to have probably the most amount of control over letting the consumer know which mattress is right for them out of anywhere else in your store. They don't know much about this area, right? So they're going to look for you for guidance. So really, I would ask them a few quick questions and then kind of direct them to what you feel will be best for them. So if their main concern, for instance, is managing temperature regulation, then I would go for the thermo, right? If their main concern was as much natural and organic material as possible, I'd go for the Health Assure 3.0. So, you know, just asking a few little questions will help. And also price point too. Do you guys talk budget here or not really? If you mention,
we don't typically start there like,
yeah,
oh, what's your
fair.
budget, right? Because then that constrains you. And most people, you know, might think it's something, but then
they change
their mind, right? They see the value or whatever. I think the 3.0 is our best selling.
Okay, very interesting.
Which is surprising because
it's the most expensive then. So
yeah.
I guess then it would just depend. And I think too, which we'll go over how to sell this. I'm going to give you all the points on it, and then you're probably going to think, oh my god, that's a lot to remember. It literally is like, okay, so this is the core, and then you've got a 2-in-1 feature, and this is what the cover does, and that's why I like this mattress, right? It's a very quick and easy flow to it. So we do have lots of different cores. The ones that you guys all have is actually what's called a Eco-Durabond core. So it's a lightweight core. The coil mattresses are kind of becoming a little bit of a thing of the past. Coil's a great material, don't get me wrong. However, the disadvantage is that you get a very heavy mattress. And, okay, so who cares? Thrown in a crib, I'm not going to be lifting it up every day. Well, actually you are kind of, when you're sheet changing, right? So have you ever, like at home, I've got this huge coil mattress, and I've got one of those beds that it like sits into. When I change my sheets once a week, I'm like lifting up the whole thing, trying to tuck it under. Especially if you have a C-section or anything of that nature, you know, that's a bit of more of a challenge. So that's where the core mattresses have a bit of an advantage over there. So the cores are made up of essentially a polyester fiber. So it's actually from recycled water bottles too. So it does have a little bit of a recycling story there. Do they have, I don't know if they put recycling. No, they didn't. Okay. Well, anyways, there's a recycling story attached to that as well. So it's brought down into like a fiber-like material, and then they are heat compressed packed to create the cores of the mattress. We do have different types of cores, so you'll hear like a 3000 core, 3600 core, 4000 core, 4600 core. What that essentially means is in the exact same amount of space, we're cramming in more material, which will then make a firmer mattress. So sometimes the higher up you go in the levels, the firmer it might feel, and that's because it has a little bit more material crammed into that same amount of space, right? Does that make sense? Everyone's following? Okay, awesome. So, yeah, so they're heat compressed packed, so no glues are used either. That's also a really big one. The only core that you actually have that's slightly different is this guy up here. And this one actually has some wool incorporated into the core as well. So that one has, again, if you're talking to someone they want as much natural and organic material as possible, that's where this might come into play a little bit more. So in terms of the mattresses that you guys have, Thermoclassic 2.0, I was like, which one is this? So the Thermoclassic has a 4,000 core, okay? So again, that just, the 4,000 is just a number of the amount of kind of material compressed into here. So it's a lightweight core. It's, you know, got the polyester fibers that does not off-gas, right? So you've got a non-off-gassing environment going on. We also have a 2-in-1 feature to this as well. So what that means is on one side of the mattress, there's actually an extra layer of padding to create a little bit of a softer feel. That is for a toddler, someone who is over 1 year of age. The way to tell, you can actually kind of feel a lot of the times which one's the softer side. Like I'm thinking this one's softer. Watch me eat my words. No, it's not. Okay, good. It is the softer side. So we actually labeled it up top here, infant, and then on this one it says toddler. And it does say 12 months. Flip it to the other side. So that's great. More bang for your buck, if you will. Especially since so many cribs now convert into a daybed style, right? You got that longevity and longer term use. So the extra layer on here is what's called Vertifiber. Essentially, it's just polyester, just the same kind of material there. It's just constructed a little bit differently to allow some airflow to go through it. So got the layer of that going on. And then finally, the real kind of claim to fame is actually the whole outside here. So you'll notice that we have this kind of mesh border going along the whole siding. This is called our area border. It's just to help with breathability, right? If you have something that's completely sealed off, it doesn't allow for the heat to kind of disperse, and so you're going to have like sometimes a really hotter mattress, if you will. So that's why we've got the air border, and also just for breathability sake too. You know, if the baby's sleeping on their side or have rolled over, you know, you got that breathability option. The cover is what's called a thermocool cover. So this is really, really neat to me. It's really soft too. I'm a tactile person, so I'm like, ooh, it's so soft. But it's very cool because it actually will absorb excess heat the baby gives off, retain it, and then release as needed. So it is a thermo-managing heat, you know, heat regulating, if you will, mattress. So the cover is really, really amazing. It's got a very unique property. No, it is not made out of organic cotton or this, that, or the other, right? So it is a man-made material, but it's got a really interesting feature to it, I find. So really like this mattress. We do very, very well. It is also treated with what's called WSR, which is water and stain resistance, not proof.
So you'll still need a cover.
Correct, exactly.
So will a cover take away from the thermal?
We actually have a matching cover for this.
Okay.
Yeah,
it's
so... Oh, how convenient. Perfect, thank you. So here we have the matching cover. So you literally will have the exact same material on here. So when you're selling this mattress, you 100% should be selling it with this, right? You want these two things to be walking out together. And we do have an organic one for the other two as well. So you do kind of want to match your cover because, again, just like you said, you're kind of defeating the purpose otherwise. So absolutely, this should be always walking out with this one right here.
And those covers are waterproof, right?
Correct, yeah. So they're lined with essentially like a food grade, I think it's called polyurethane or something.
Yeah, polyurethane.
Yeah, so that is like a sandwich bag material, right? So you know what, like you put like in the Ziploc bags like those sandwiches, that's essentially what we've got on the backing of the waterproof cover. So if the baby does have an accident, you can simply take it off. I usually recommend, honestly, having 2 of those. You know, if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, baby's woken up, they had an accident, last thing you want to do is like, I gotta stay up and wait for it to wash and dry, right? Like, just have an extra, like, I have 2 sets of sheets, for instance, right? And so it's a good idea to kind of have an extra one of those. So I'd say 2 is probably an appropriate thing to start with, if you will. Any other questions on this? We'll get into all the, the certifications and all that afterwards, but anything in terms of the actual features? No? So I'm going to do a really quick run through of how I would sell this mattress, okay, so that you're all kind of clear on that. So I love the mattress, the Thermoclassic, gosh, okay, first get the name right. I love the Thermoclassic 2.0. It's got a lightweight core, so this is very easy for sheet changing. It's made from these polyester fibers, so there's no off-gassing or anything of that nature. It's actually a 2-in-1 mattress as well, so the toddler side has a little extra layer that makes it a little bit softer. So after 12 months, you could flip this mattress for that toddler. And however, the infant side's nice and firm. On the outside, you've got an area border for breathability and an amazing thermocool cover that absorbs extra heat. Babies are so hot when they're born, and so this is just going to help manage that temperature regulation. The end.
I'll take 3.
Yes. Oh my God, sold, right? So it's really not that complicated. You guys also have these incredible banners on your display mattresses that can help guide you through some of those points. I personally like to go core out, right? I think it's just an easy way for them to kind of say, well, it's a 2-in-1, so you got that layer, and then, oh, and then you've got this outside, and oh, by the way, the core, I just find starting from the inside and working my way out is just the easiest and most logical way to follow. But do whatever works for you, right? If you got your spiel down, then go for it. So next one we'll talk about is your Health Assure 2.0, which, as you can see, as I mentioned, we have a firmer mattress here. So this has a 4600 core. So if your customer, one of their biggest concerns is, I want a really, really firm mattress, then maybe you want to guide them towards this, right? Because this is going to be slightly firmer than what you've got on the Thermoclassic. So this mattress offers a couple of different things. Oops, sorry. Mainly having to do with the, oh, no, don't shut down. God.
Don't you have this all memorized, Jenna? You need your cheat notes.
I have actually memorized pretty much fully. So the Health Assure, you've got the main difference besides the core being slightly firmer is, of course, the outside cover as well. You also have the 2-in-1 with this too, so you've got that extra layer there. So again, you can really feel the cushioning. I do think that it's got an extra inch of that cushioning there. So while this had the 1 inch, I believe this has the 2, so you can kind of feels a little bit softer, a little bit squishier. The other thing too is, of course, you've got the area border, same deal, and oh, it's fully shutting down. All right, that's gone. That's gone for the world. And then, of course, the outside organic cover. It's very important. So sometimes people have this association when they hear the word organic, they think, oh, it's an organic mattress. It is not, right? The core is not organic. The 2-in-1 feature is not organic. The cover is organic, right? So you want to very much be careful about your wording when it comes to mattresses. Do not say, oh yeah, this is our organic mattress, because technically it's not an organic mattress. Usually when I talk about this, I talk about bamboo fabric. So back in the day when bamboo fabric first came out, everyone's like, oh, bamboo, it's 100% natural, this is amazing. Well, for bamboo, the plant, to become bamboo, the fabric, has to go through quite the chemical process. So recently, and by recent I mean the last few years or so, they made people start putting on bamboo viscose versus just bamboo, because really and truly it wasn't really bamboo anymore. It kind of had this weird combination in it. So, you know, it's important to be very conscious of your wording when it comes to selling. You don't want to give kind of false information. This is organic, it's not. It's got an organic cover, which is great. And for people who really want, again, that natural and as much organic and natural material as possible, this is a good option for them. So, got the firmer core, you've got a little bit extra cushioning on that toddler side, and then the organic cover versus the thermocool cover. Questions on that? No? So again, just great mattress, a little bit firmer than the Thermoclassic, but still you've got a really nice cushioning, especially for the toddler side. It's actually a 2-in-1 mattress, so you've got a nice soft layer on the toddler side, so you flip it after 12 months. Then we've got the area border for breathability, and on the outside we finished off with a nice organic cover here. The end. Right? Super, super simple. So the final mattress, and this is actually personally my favorite mattress. This is called our Health Assure 3.0.
All right.
I just need to stand up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Trade.
Your turn.
Okay. So
Oh, go ahead.
this is one of my favorite because this does incorporate a lot more natural material into the mattress. This is our most natural and organic mattress possible. So as I mentioned, the core itself has wool integrated into it, right? Now, it's not going to feel as firm as the 2.0 because wool is a little bit softer, all right? So if, again, firmness is their number one issue, direct them here, right? But that's not to say this isn't a firm mattress. It absolutely is. I would say it feels probably maybe a little bit closer to the firmness of the Thermo Classic versus this one. So, but we do have a very firm mattress on this. The other thing too is that the layer for the toddler side for that 2-in-1 feature is wool. Wool has amazing properties to it, okay? It keeps you warm in the winter, cool in the summer. It naturally wicks away moisture. It's a sustainable resource. You don't have to slaughter sheep to get wool, right? They can come down and you shear them and you send them on their merry mountain way, right? So it's a nice little, environment story. So wool is a really, really cool material. People like it. And it's on the toddler side of this. So again, you've got more natural materials integrated into this mattress. Again, you've got the area border for breathability. And finally, topped up with an organic mattress cover. So again, when I'm talking about this, great mattress, love the Health Assure 3.0. The core actually has some wool integrated into it, but it's very lightweight for sheet changing and very firm for the infant side. On the toddler side, we actually have a layer of wool, so it's a little bit softer, a little bit more comfortable. Wool's a great material, warm in the winter, cool in the summer. You've got a sustainable resource, wicks away moisture naturally. We also have an area border on the outside, and we topped it off with a beautiful organic cover.
And we have a specific cover for these ones as well.
Yeah.
The other
Do you
cover
sell
is
the Sleep
the Sleep
Safe?
Safe,
Okay, yeah.
which is organic
And it's
cotton.
$30.
So yeah,
Yeah, and then we have the thermal one.
the two separate covers.
So yeah, you got two covers. So really and truly, again, I would 100% be selling this mattress with this cover and the organic mattress cover with this one. All of them need to have that cover because they're only WSR treated, not. And what WSR means, besides water and stain resistant, is essentially if I were to pour water on this, it will bead, but if I patted it, it will absorb in. So it will kind of like stop that from happening, but I mean, the baby's gonna roll over, right? So probably, or like move or something like that. I remember I was babysitting my cousin's baby and was watching on the monitor. I don't know how anyone sleeps. Like I was like, oh my God, what's he doing now? Like, what's happening? Oh my God, he moved again. He was all over that crib like nobody's business. So I don't think he went to sleep and stayed in one position, but he was moving around quite a bit. So, you just want to make sure your mattress is protected and good, in good condition. Lifetime warranty as well, which it does say on the mattresses. I think all of them are these ones. Yeah, all of these ones are lifetime warranty. So again, it's really good quality. If you have an issue, they can contact Jupiter and they'll take care of them, no problem.
And the flame retardant
yes,
stuff.
So
like there's
that has. So we actually are. We pass those flame standards, like fire retardant standards, without having any added chemicals in here, and that mainly has to do with the materials that we are using. So when it comes to a mattress, if I threw this into a fire, yes, eventually it will disappear after like an extended period of time. However, it won't ignite and burst into flames, right? And that's really the concern and the biggest part. So because of the material, it's not going to, have that property and that ability. So it is not treated with any kind of flame retardancy chemicals, which do tend to off-gas and have some issues. Now, if you do have customers asking you, well, where's the certifications, this, that, and the other, there are some talking points to that, and that has to do with this. I don't know quite why they put this. This just means, yay, we certified it. It's like, I don't understand what that means, but this is essentially saying, yes, it's certified. It's standard sizing, it's firm enough, all that jazz. SGS, this is a third-party testing facility that we have our cores of our mattresses tested in. And so, unfortunately, in my presentation, I actually had the results of that. But what you'll see is, so they test for like formaldehyde, toluene, I don't even know how to pronounce half of these chemicals and whatnot. And across the board, no detection was found, right? So we're confident that our cores are not going to be off-gassing or giving off any other chemical, gases that would be of a concern for a baby. So we say, no VOCs, no foam. And I say no foam because foam is a very man-made petroleum-based, material, and it will off-gas. So I don't want you to be like, oh, this is a foam. It's not a foam. Call it a core, if anything else, right? And it's made out of, again, polyester fibers. It does not off-gas. the GOTS standard. So this is something that you'll only see on our organic ones. It won't be on this one because there's no organic material in that one. So GOTS is a global organization and standard for organic cotton. So you'll see this actually on some of your other products, maybe in the stores as well. When it comes to organic, unfortunately, there can be a little bit of this, you know, oh, it's organic, but we used only these pesticides, but not those pesticides, so it's still organic kind of thing. So organic can be a little bit challenging and tricky as well, which is why we use the GOTS standard, which is a global one saying this is for sure organic cotton and is treated as such, right? So there's no hidden kind of features in there. So that's a great standard to talk about. Some people might recognize it, but you can just say, you know, rest assured, the organic cotton used in this is GOTS certified, meaning we know that it is organic. And then the last and final one is actually the Okotek standard, Okotek 100 standard. Again, this is something that you'll probably see on a couple of your other products in here. I think is Ergo or Bjorn. I think one of those companies actually uses
Bjorn, I think.
Bjorn, yeah. So this is a very cool company, and the reason why we did this as opposed to some of the other standards is because it's very specific to textiles, which so much of the mattress is incorporating, particularly our outside covers, right? So what this is again, it's a third-party testing facility, and they're looking at, you know, what our government says is okay, what we know to be harmful. It's looking at lots of different regulations and this, that, and the other, and saying, all right, this is, you know, important to be very wary of, and you know, this kind of chemical, and so it shouldn't be in the mattresses. They're not only testing for off-gassing, they're also testing for ingestion. So, you know, if baby starts to chew and maybe even gets a piece off, it would be quite a active baby there. I hope that doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly. We have a lot more problems then, I think. So it's not only talking about the off-gassing, but ingestion and also contact as well, right? So if you're touching this, is this going to cause, you know, rashing or problems, or am I getting, you know, chemicals onto my skins and whatnot? So it's going through all those standards, and they're all approved with that Okotek standard as well. So, you know, we've got 3 things happening with these mattresses to reinsure the customer that they're getting a really good, safe product for baby. So that's why we have the safe and healthy and firm all highlighted right on here, right? Any other questions, guys, at all?
I just have a question about the wool. Like, so what if a baby's allergic to wool? Is that going to affect
Good question.
them?
Most of the time, wool is a touching issue. It's not so much that it's in the room kind of thing. So if you think about it, where the wool is located, it's in the core. It's in the two-in-one feature, right? So in kind of the padding area, if you will. Then we've got a waterproof cover over top. Then we've got, then we have this cover over top.
Yeah.
Then we have a waterproof cover over top. Then we have a sheet over top. Then the baby has pajamas on. So it's so far removed from their ability to actually touch it and have an issue. So I have not heard of that ever in my 6 years of working with them being an issue with wool. And we've had wool in other mattresses as well. But great question. I get that all the time.
Yeah, just because I know there's like a lady, she's like, well, my husband's allergic to wool, so I don't know, I better stay away from it.
And if that's the case, and they are really concerned, and even though you talk to them about it, say, well, actually, the Health Assure's got a lot of the same features to it. You know, we've got the organic cover, but there's just no wool incorporated, so I would then recommend that.
Yeah.
So I would just
ended up
redirect
going
them, and exactly, at the end of the day. So if, you know, somebody who's purchasing this mattress wants the wool. So if she's not a big wool fan, then I would say just to redirect her to something else. Yeah. Great question, though. Anything else, guys? No, she did my questions. All right. Oh, perfect. Awesome. Okay. Well, thank you.